I am going to bring on our first guest, and they are arriving shortly. Da, 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 da. Okay, I don't. There you go. Okay, now I just need you to unmute.
How's that?
Perfect. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Rhonda.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
I'm glad you have me. Looking forward to the conversation as well.
Okay, I'm hearing a wonderful accent, and I spent 5 years in Belgium, and I've
Hmm.
met so many people from so many different countries.
All
So
right.
I enjoy it. I enjoy an accent when I hear it, and I think I catch on to it probably a little faster than some other people. So can you
Okay.
tell me where you're from?
I'll give you one guess and I'll give you if you don't get it.
Oh, you're gonna put pressure on me.
But it's pressure with love. Pressure
Oh,
with love.
okay. Well, I haven't listened to it long,
Uh-huh.
so
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
oh,
Take a
okay.
guess, you never know.
Oh, I like you. Okay, are you? Is it a European accent?
No, it's a South American accent
Oh, a South American accent.
from
Okay.
Guyana.
Oh, shoot, I was not going to say that, but I love it. Okay. Well,
South
welcome.
American slash Caribbean.
Really? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And
Hmm.
you think I would have known that it would be a little bit of Caribbean in it. But
Yeah, yeah.
well, thank you for being a part of Black Authors Matter TV tonight. So before we get started, can you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm delighted to be in a zone called the retiree zone. And I've got an 8-year-old granddaughter whose birthday or eighth birthday is tomorrow.
Okay.
And early this year, she said to me, she said, Papa, you're supposed to be retired. You're always traveling. You're always in these webinars. She's hearing her grandmother complain. I had a very long career as an academic. Before that, I was a journalist.
Okay.
I've had I've had the pleasure of having a wonderful family. My wife and I later this next month be celebrating our 37th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations. That's beautiful.
Thank you. We have two wonderful kids, a daughter, Shakina Aisha, and his son, Ivelaw Lamar. He's getting married next month.
What? Oh, you just have a
So
beautiful life going on.
couldn't ask for much more. I'm blessed.
Love it, love it, love it. So, now, where are you located now? I believe you are in New York right now.
Yes, we live in a wonderful part of New York in Long Island. It's a town called Freeport. Nice, quiet, not large, but quite connected to very many parts of facilities, arrangements, whatever you need. It's just in about 15, 20 minutes away. So we've been here for 17 years in Freeport, Long Island, and
Okay.
loving it. We plan to retire here. And it's like, I'm retired. And my wife retires. We retires. We're going to just stay here.
Oh, so you're not a glutton for punishment like I am, because I I am retired and then I
Uh-huh.
decided to go back to work. So I did 23 years in the Army, and then now I work for the federal government. So I
Well,
guess I'm
I still do. I still do some work. I still write.
okay.
Uh, Sylvie's Love and Loss is my third book this year. I do consulting. I still keep active. You know, if you as you're getting older, you've got to keep active, or else
Yes.
things happen physiologically and biologically. So I still still keep active, still work.
Well, funny you should mention, this is Black Authors Matter TV. So, tell me about your book, Sylvie's Love and Loss.
Sylvie's Love and Loss is what I call an adventure of life. It's built around the life journey of a woman from Grenada,
Mm.
and it connects to family, it connects to values, it connects to the complexity of geography. It has a complexity of geography that begins in Grenada, but
Mhm.
connects to Detroit, Michigan, to Windsor, Canada, to Jamaica, to Trinidad and Tobago, to Venezuela, to Barbados. And it is built around the life story of this woman who I call Sylvie,
Okay.
based on an actual experience I had about 3 decades ago. I was working on another book. And in doing the research for that book, I went to Grenada, small island in the Eastern Caribbean. And you probably know that when you've got folks from a certain part of the world going back to that part of the world, other folks would ask you to take stuff for them. Take this
Yeah.
to a family here and take this to a friend. So a friend of mine in the US asked me to take a package to this woman who I call Sylvie. So I took this package to Sylvie and we were talking and she began to tell me her life story.
Okay.
She felt so comfortable with me, Rhonda, that she began to make an offer. Part of her life story was that she was a deportee. She was
Mm.
deported from Canada for drug trafficking, but she was still in the business back in
Imported from Canada?
from Canada. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. She was moving drugs in her female parts across the border. She,
Mm.
she was a mule. So she was still in the business back in Grenada and in some respects. So guess what? After feeling so comfortable with me, she offered to sell me some cocaine. And I said,
He
nah,
got
I
really
don't do,
comfortable with you.
I'm telling you. 3 hours over hors d'oeuvres and over beers can do a lot to loosen your your sensitivities to being discreet.
Mm.
And I had an experience after I told her I don't do drugs. She said to me, Doc, you can
Go.
use it for sex. I'm a doctor. So I was doing research there. She didn't know what my research is all about. My research was actually about drugs. She didn't
Mm.
know that. She just knew me as a friend of a friend in the US. I was bringing
Right.
this package for her. So after I told her I don't do drugs, she began to say to me, you can use the cocaine for sex. Oh, guess what? Yeah, you tell a guy, what do you think the guy's gonna do? Tell me how.
Right.
So she began to tell me how to use cocaine for sex. This was such an intriguing, unexpected, startling experience. I said to myself, one day when I retire, I've got to write a novel. I've got to put on paper this
Right.
story creatively embellished because of this startling experience I had. This was 1994 in the Caribbean. So after I retired in 2019, moved back to New York from Guyana, I decided, let me begin to write this novel. So I
Yes.
crafted this novel, and it's called Sylvie's Love and Loss.
Well, so now the novel, I'm guessing, just by virtue of it being a novel, this is a fictitious story based on this real life experience.
Correct, correct, correct. The only grain of truth is what I learned about Sylvie that day in Grenada. But the rest of it is fiction, creative fiction. You love it when you read it.
It sounds interesting.
Your viewers will love it when they read it.
Yet I will say that you can't possibly make this stuff up. I mean, for
Oh, no?
somebody that you've met for the first
Mm-hmm.
time to feel that comfortable with you that they will offer you drugs. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I would be totally astounded if that had happened to me.
Yeah, yeah. But, people feel friend of my friend, we drinking, loose lips, not only sink ships, but can do other things. And
Yes.
so it was a revelation. It was astounding. As a matter of fact, the book I was researching when I had this experience was published later on. And I recall it was published by Penn State Press. And one of the reviews of the manuscript said Professor Griffith needs to put a footnote saying he's not advocating the use of cocaine for sex. Because it was such a startling thing.
Right.
But it was so startling, I said, I've got to tell this story in another form, not a scholarly book, not an academic book. And
Right.
Sylvie's Love and Loss is what this story is all about.
Wow. And this was your debut novel?
This is my debut novel.
But now, is this your debut novel, but you've had other books, or have you written other fiction, other novels since then?
All my other works are all academic scholarly works. I've got 9 academic books, some written by me, some I co-edit, some I edit, but this is my first novel. It's not going to be my last novel because I've got a sequel I've got a continuation of the story.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna
And
have
I'll tell you what, Rhonda, I'm so glad that my wife kind of saved me from myself. She said to me at one point, she said, honey, this is your first novel. Who wants to read a 500-page book? Keep it short. So I decided to
you have a point.
end it.
You have a point
And
there.
then I got sufficient of the rest of the story to begin the second novel.
Hmm.
So come the new year, I'm going to work. That second novel is going to be just as good as this one, in my view.
So now tell me what this with this being your first novel, how
Mhm.
was this different from the academic work? I mean, because it's two totally different types of writing.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. One of the things that was helpful to me, Rhonda, is in an earlier, my pre-academic life, I was a journalist.
Mm,
So I know how to write, keeping it short, keeping it simple, write
yes.
to a number of words, write to a certain deadline, write to a certain number of words. I did both print and radio. So if you're
Okay.
doing the radio, you've got X number of minutes. If you're doing the print, you've got X number of words or pages. So I was able to use that journalistic, keeping it simple narrative storytelling.
Hmm.
But I had a major challenge because I was so caught up in my academic style. I was, where do I do the footnotes? How do I do the footnotes? Where do I put the referencing? And people who read chapters and my developmental editor kept saying, Dr. Griffith, you don't need any footnotes. Stick to the story. So I had
Yes,
to
you
fight
don't need
this,
footnotes in a fiction.
right? You know what I mean? So I had to fight that demon, that academic demon, that inclination to want to put in the footnotes, show the evidence, make it academic. I simply had to deal with that. But I was so thankful. I went back decades into my journalism training,
Hmm.
and that helped immensely, moving from the academic writing to the fiction writing.
I will tell you, I told you I was in the Army for 23 years. And
Uh-huh.
my job when I was in the Army was being a journalist. I was an Army journalist.
Oh,
So,
great. Great.
I edit newspapers, I taught journalism.
Mhm.
That was really where I became a professional writer. But when
Okay.
I decided that I wanted to write novels, I realized that I couldn't take all of my journalistic writing to my
The
novel
novel writing. Mm-hmm.
because my sentences were sometimes going to have to be a little bit longer. I was going to
Mm-hmm.
have to use a little bit more description than I
Right.
was using in my journalistic writing.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't write, simple sentences. I needed to be a little bit
A
more
little
complex
bit. Elaborate. Yeah.
ways. I felt like I had to kind of relearn writing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, thankfully, I didn't have to do much relearning because over the decades of being an academic and writing academic articles and books, I
Hmm.
had cultivated the art of telling the story with relatively simple language. You know, don't all this jargon, this highfalutin language. And
Right.
so I had that, I was able to practice and perfect that style. And so it was relatively easy, save and except from dealing with the footnotes. I remember at one point, in part of the first chapter, I wanted to give some of the evidence from other parts of the world where people had used cocaine for sex. There was a famous case in Germany
Mm.
where this medical doctor was using cocaine to have sex with some of the women some of whom were his patients. And he used too much cocaine in one case, and the woman died. That led to a massive investigation. So I tell part of that story. My development editor says, Ivelaw, you're going away from the storyline. You got to cut that out. And he said, my
Yeah.
God, I got to
You
cut
start
that
to get
out.
carried away and you start to go down a rabbit hole because
Right,
as a
right.
journalist, you've done so much research and you want to try to take all of that research
Put
and
it in there. Yep, yep, yep. So that's a demon I had to battle with. And, thanks to the developmental editor who worked with me and other friends who had been in this space, say, Ivelaw, forget that. Forget that. Focus on the storyline. You're going off on tangents. You don't need all these, byways and highways. Stick to the road you're on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are just joining us, I am Dr. Rhonda Lawson. I know you can't see me very well today, but I am in Katy, Texas, visiting my family for Thanksgiving. And so I don't have my lights set up. I don't have my office. I know you used to see my degrees behind me and all this other things, but I still wanted to be make sure that I was here to support Gwen. Gwen will be back on the show a little bit later. She had a few things that she needed to take care of. So I'm holding the show down until she gets back. So I don't want you guys thinking, "Hey, what's going on? This isn't what I'm used to seeing." You're still going to get that quality interview that you're used to getting when you watch Black Authors Matter TV. I just look a little different today. That's all it is.
Different is good sometimes. Different is good. Different
Yes,
is good. Yeah.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
now, tell me, because we didn't jump into this at the very beginning, I want to make sure that I'm saying your name correctly. I mean, I got the Lloyd Griffith part, but how do I say the first name?
Ivelaw.
Ivelaw.
Ivelaw. You know,
Ivelaw Griffith.
when, right. When my kids were young, I used to say to them, I have the law. Ivelaw. And my son would say, Daddy, you don't have the law. You have the money. Just give us the money. Leave us alone.
Love it,
So
love it.
Ivelaw Lloyd Griffith. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you published your book with Wordy, correct?
Wordy. Yep.
Yes. We absolutely love Wordy because Wordy's been around for a long time.
Right.
Really a really big benchmark in the African American literary community. So
Mm-hmm.
I think you got a good one.
Yep.
You got a good one.
Only 2 nights ago, I was talking with some other friends, one of whom is writing his life story and was asking about my experience with Word. And I said, it was wonderful. I had a good editor. I had a good production manager. They were
Wonderful.
very responsive with the graphics. And people loved the cover. And I say, I don't take credit for it. I just give the artist an idea of what I have in mind. And I said, here's what I have in mind. Give me 3 options. 3 great options, and I picked this one. So I'm delighted with Wordy's, and I'm delighted. Let me give a shout out to Yona, my publicist, who's the one who connected with your outfit. Wonderful. If Wordy would publish my second novel, I'd love to have them do it. But it's been a wonderful experience with Wordy.
That's
Shout out
one.
to shout out to Marva. Shout out to Patrice.
That's beautiful. So now the artist who did your cover, because it is a beautiful cover, if you can show it to us
Mhm.
one more time. You said your artist gave you actually 3 different concepts to choose from.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, now I would tell you, I don't know if you know, but that's a blessing because often when authors sign with a publishing house, they don't get a choice. They're told this is what your cover is going to be. You know,
Mhm.
we basically own the book, so we're going to decide on the cover, and this is what it's going to be. And if
Mhm.
you're unsatisfied with the cover, maybe they might change it, but they may not change it. So the
Yep.
fact that you were given 3 options,
Three
that's
options.
I hope that you realize how special that is.
I do realize because all my other books, which were all academic, I've often got 1 or 2 at most. But I said I'd like to have 3. And they gave me 3 great ones. And I went with this. So I wanted to convey, I wanted to have part of the Caribbean's landscape represented in the cover.
Yeah.
I wanted Sylvie to be visible but not known, a kind of a known unknown. So you know it's a woman, but you don't know what she looks like. I want a mystery to be there wrapped up in the Sylvie.
Yes.
And they did a wonderful job in giving me 3 options, and I chose this one, partly because I like the color combination that is in this one.
It's a
So
lovely
yes,
color combination, but another thing I like about it is that you can't see the character's face. So
right.
it still lets the reader, it still plays on
Imagine.
the imagination.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 That's part of what I wanted. And they took the notion and ran with it. And I'm delighted with the outcome. It's
Okay.
available at Worthy, of course. It's available on Amazon,
Okay.
Kindle, and in softcover. Christmas is coming, Rhonda. People can buy it for Christmas gifts.
Absolutely. And I did put the link, the wordy link to your book
Uh-huh.
in the chat. So anybody who wants to purchase the book tonight, you can do so. Just click right on that link, purchase the
Hmm.
book while we're still talking. I think that's one of the most wonderful things about this Black Authors Matter TV audience is
Hmm.
that many of the people who watch the show tune in every week. They're very
Right.
dedicated to the show and they
Wonderful.
support the authors who are on the show. So
That's
I'm
great.
quite sure that you're going to get a few sales just from being on the show tonight.
Love it. Thank you very much. But let me plug, if you don't mind, another place where you can go to see all my books. I've got a website.
Okay.
It's www.jeffveleo, JEFFTHELEO.com. And all my books are there. You can click on it and order it, and you can see other things that I've done over the decades.
Okay. And now let me repeat that back
JeffDeleo.com.
to you.
No,
www.jeffth mhm,
www.JEFFTHELEO.
.com.
Jeff, JeffTheLeo.com.
Okay, I just put that in the chat as well.
Great, wonderful. I'm a Leo, proud of it.
Well, I'm a Cancer. I guess
Oh,
I'm the
good.
emotional one. So now,
Yeah.
I was at the Harlem Book Festival. Were you there?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, we should have run into each other.
I was in a panel on Black romance novels.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, we
Yep.
did make it to the panels, and maybe that was why I didn't get a chance to meet you.
Hmm.
Gwen and I were actually sharing a tent, and we were advertising
Okay.
Black Authors Matter TV as well as our own different ventures.
I
Um,
actually picked up one of the flyers from your tent.
oh, see, then we
Yeah.
probably met each other then.
Yeah. I picked up a flyer. And
Oh,
I was saying to someone, I did a book signing in Brooklyn a couple of months ago, and I was talking about that Harlem Book Fair. I was so impressed with the number of vendors and booksellers that were there.
yeah. Yes.
It
No.
was my first Harlem Book Fair,
Okay.
and I was totally impressed in a positive way,
Yeah,
separate and apart
Harlem
from the
Festival is
panel.
a wonderful event. It's been around for so long. I've been an
Hmm.
author for over 20 years.
Right.
And um, one of one of my first events was the Harlem Book Festival. Um,
Hmm.
so I was excited to come back to it. This was only my second one, but I plan on coming back.
Right.
I really
Yep.
enjoyed it. And it was a little different from the first time that I did it because it was
Hmm.
more like a long street. You just walk down the street and there are different
Right.
all throughout the street. So this was a little bit
Hmm.
different because it was on a square. But
Right.
um,
Right.
but it was still a great event. We
It
sold a lot
was.
of books, a lot of T-shirts. We got a number of people to sign up for our shows because I
Hmm.
not only have Black Authors Matter TV, but I also have my own show, the Horizons Author Lounge, and
Okay. Great.
so we were able to get authors to sign up for both shows. So
Great.
and Gwen sold oodles of T-shirts.
I can imagine. I can imagine. You know, I was also impressed. I thought the panel would have had like 15, 20 people. There were almost 70 people in that room.
Wonderful.
I was totally impressed. Yeah. And not just a good back and forth, but good questions about writing, good
Mhm.
questions about how to market your work. And it was a great experience. Great
So do you
experience.
think you're going to stick with fiction writing, or are you going to stick with academic, or maybe do a little bit of both?
I'll do both. I'll do both. I'll do both. I've got an academic book which I'm working on. It's about Guyana,
Okay.
but in January I'm going to start to follow up to this, the rest of the story, tell the rest of
Well,
the story.
definitely. So I know I would love to read it, so I'm going to be ordering my copy. Is the book
Wonderful.
right now just in print? Do you plan to do audiobook or even a hardback?
I got to talk to Marva and Patrice at Wordy on what their plans are. I'm interested in the audiobook,
Okay.
but I've got to talk with them and see if there is that in that plan or if they can make that pathway available. Yeah.
Okay, well, I hope that works out. Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm a reader, but because of my schedule, I do a lot of audiobooks.
Audio
Um,
reading. Yeah.
because I'm always moving around. I live in actually I'm even though I'm in Texas right now, I live in the Washington
Hmm.
area, and
Okay.
everywhere we go is probably 35 minutes to an hour away. So
Yeah.
when I jump in the car, the first thing I do is turn on an audiobook.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Makes sense. Makes sense. I'll definitely be talking with wordy folks about the audio prospects of getting the audiobook. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
one of the things I like also is the very reasonable price. It's in paperback and it's only 19.99. Uh, very reasonable. And the
Yeah.
Kindle version is I think $10.
Oh, that's now you can't beat that.
Can't be that. Can't be that. So buy, folks, buy. If Christmas is coming, get your friends, get your family, get it for your neighbors too. Sylvie's Love and Loss.
So, all right, so we can find the book on Amazon. We can also find it on Kindle. Where are some other places we can purchase the book?
You can get it on Wordy, you can get it at Barnes and Nobles, any of the major booksellers in the business, it's there. And
Okay.
if you want to do one-stop shopping, go to my website. You can see all my books there and you can order it directly from the website. Go to Amazon or go to Wordy as appropriate,
Okay,
and
and the
it'll be
books are
there in a
also
couple of
on
weeks.
your website, jefftheleo.com.
JeffDeLeo.com.
Okay, and we have jefftheleo.com in the chat as well as the Wordy website is also in the chat. So there is really
Wonderful.
no reason why people can't go out, just go ahead and click on one of these links and
That's
purchase
right.
the book.
And just for the hell of it, buy two. Don't stick with one.
And not only that, don't just
Uh-huh.
read the book, go
Read
ahead,
it.
read the book, and leave
Hmm.
the review.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Good suggestion, Rhonda.
Hey, this is what I'm here for. Well,
So when is your next book coming?
my next, see, now
Mhm.
you didn't put the pressure on me and you asked me in front of the people.
You can tell them it's forthcoming and let's leave it at that.
No, I do plan on releasing another book in 2025. My plan was first 2024, but a lot of things are
Stuff
going
happened.
on.
Stuff happened.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, my next book will be released in 2025. My
Hmm.
plan is actually to have two books because I want to do a holiday novel um
Okay.
as well. So
Great.
yeah, I need to get back into my writing. I coach writing, I promote
Hmm.
authors, but I have not given myself the energy that I'm giving other people. So I need to make sure that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
make time to write my books. So
Wonderful.
I appreciate you putting that fire under my feet.
Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
Mr. Ivelaw, I've really enjoyed talking with you.
So
Unfortunately,
have
it is
I.
the end of the half hour.
Time. I
It does.
understand.
It does. Well,
Well,
you.
let me thank you. Let me thank you and Gwen and the team at your place, and look forward to when my next one comes out. Have me back. Love to talk about it.
Hey, when you want to come back, just say the word.
Surely will.
All right. Thank you
Sylvie's Love
so
and
much.
Loss,
Yes.
JeffDeLeo.com.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it here. Go out and purchase this book. Let's support this book. And so Ivelaw, thank you once again for joining us. Thank you for being a
Thank
part
you.
of Black Authors Matter TV. And I wish you all the best in your future
Thank you
endeavors.
so much. Thank you
All right.
very much. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, Wanda.
And you do the same. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.